everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on all types of topics related to narcissism. So if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. I would really appreciate it if you give the video a thumbs up. It's a free way you can help me out, and definitely don't forget to leave a comment because I like to read what you have to say. So today's Friday, and typically on Friday what I do is I give you an update on where I stand in terms of leaving my narcissistic ex. Today is the last Friday update. I am days away from my freedom. For me to tell you that I am stressed out, that I'm afraid, that I have an unbelievable amount of anxiety is just an understatement. I am feeling off the charts fear. I'm so anxious. I am like traumatized almost. I can't even believe I'm making this video. I am days away and I am really feeling the pressure of it. Now, 2 days ago, my ex actually contacted me. He called me. That does not happen. My ex does not. The only communication I have with my ex is exclusively through text. So for him to call me, I knew there was a problem, and there was. Something horrible happened, and he discovered something, and it was not a good situation. And in fact, it's actually going to push into next week. I'm going to be dealing with this with him every single day until the day I leave. Now, I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, really because I'm afraid I'm going to jinx myself. However, the next update video I make will be from Joe's house, and don't miss that video if you've been following my journey, because I will have a lot of things to say, including what happened with my ex 2 days ago. Now, some of you have contacted me and told me that I am way too open on my channel, and I hear you. And I actually agree with you. I actually took a video down because of some things that I said. I'm going to put it back up after I'm safe, but right now it's in a private gallery. And you'd be surprised, there's a lot I haven't said, so I'm going to tell you some of those things on the other side. But at this point, I've said so much, and I'm walking on faith. I really, truly am walking on faith. At this point, every single step that I take, I am relying on God in a way that I have never in my life done. Everything that Joe and I have done, every decision that we have made has been done in prayer and with the guidance of God. It might seem impulsive to some of you. It probably does. I understand that. Joe gets that too. But for us, the reality is that we do believe that this is God ordained. But that doesn't mean that I don't feel fear or anxiety. I am trying not to, but I'm actually doing this all alone with just my kids. When I pick Joe up at the airport, I am going to feel so good when I see him. When he puts his arms around me, I'm going to feel like I've lost 100 pounds, because then it's there, it's real, it's happening. Not that it isn't happening, but just to do this by yourself is traumatizing. It's horrible. This is probably the scariest thing I've ever done in my entire life. You can't just leave a narcissistic relationship. You have to escape. And so much is on this. You know, today, as I'm making this video, 2 big events are happening as well today. Today's my last day of work, and I'm also going on break from school after today too. So some of you may know I homeschool my children. So my daughter takes a combination of online classes, and I teach some classes. I do history, foreign language. We have a business class we do as well. But everything else she does online. For my son, I do everything with him. So I'm going to do schoolwork with him this morning. I'm going to work this afternoon, and both of those are going to be done. Then I can exclusively focus on getting everything prepared that I need to for next week. Some of you may know I also run a breeding business out of my home, so I actually have a lot of animals that I need to get together, figure out their transport, everything I need for them, food, shipping containers, everything that I need. It's a lot. I also need to get things that I need for them on the other end so that I'm not rushing out to pet stores and stuff as soon as I get there. So there's a lot for me to do. And I'm trying to tell myself that, all right, Sharon, it's okay. Calm down. It's okay. Because as long as the kids are safe, as long as the animals are safe, as long as I'm safe, as long as we do this, everything's okay. Because I have Social Security cards, birth certificates, I have I need. I have, my pet's vaccinations. I have documents. I have everything that I need. I have all things like that taken care of. I also have weapons. I made sure that I can have them in the state where Joe is. So everything is good. Like everything that I needed to take care of. I've spoken to my lawyer. I have everything set with her. So I'm good. I'm good. But I'm still anxious because something could go wrong related to my ex. He has the power to stop me. And that's what I'm really afraid of. Yesterday, I posted on the community page asking people to pray for me, and so many of you did, and I'm so grateful. When I tell you I am grateful, I am grateful. I really appreciate it. I'm not just saying that. So for anybody who prays, please pray for me. Please pray for Joe. Pray for our kids. This is truly the scariest thing. I can't think of anything I've done that's scarier than this in my entire life. So please pray for me that the next time I make an update video, I am safe and I can tell you I can speak freely and I will not feel like I have this 1,000-pound weight pressing down on me. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get into today's video. So I'm putting the official final nail in the coffin of my entanglement. I've been separated for almost exactly 2 years now, but we've been living in limbo. I actually don't know that much about my ex. I know his phone number and I know where he works, and that's really just about it. So finally, I'm taking action, drastic action, massive action. And that really does make all the difference. I'm big on really going after your goals. I know you can achieve anything if you go after it in prayer and with your entire heart and soul. Right now, I'm afraid, but I'm going to do what I need to do afraid. Tony Robbins has said that if you want to take the island, burn your boats. Make it so that you can't turn back. Don't give yourself an out. And that's exactly what Joe and I have done. We believe that God is with us, and I'm going to have much more to say about that in January, so stay tuned. Everything that Joe and I have done has been in prayer. Now, in the meantime, I have other things to discuss. So I'm leaving my ex. I already told you that. I burned my boats. But what happens if you stay? That's what we're going to talk about today. The thing about narcissists is that once you understand who they are, you can predict their behavior. So let's go ahead and talk about what you can expect if you stay in a relationship with a narcissist. First, let's really understand what you're dealing with. A narcissist is not healthy mentally. We're going to discuss some realities specifically, but as a little summary to begin, I'll say this. Narcissists are incapable. They cannot truly and consistently love you. At the very best, your life will be spent tiptoeing around the minefields that are the narcissist's moods. You won't be loved. They will betray you in multiple ways, and you will end up a shell of the person you were meant to be. You will be a miserable person with occasional moments of hope when the narcissist has a good day. You'll end up trauma bonded, and you will end up trying harder to love somebody well, and that's an impossible thing to do. You will be the only one in the relationship, and there is no relationship when only one person is in it. A narcissist is not emotionally available, and that is a permanent condition. Narcissism is permanent. So that means by staying with a narcissist, you will be with someone who cannot be there for you emotionally ever. If you are upset, they will either not care or they'll get angry with you for having a problem. A narcissist is supremely selfish. Only they matter. Now, many of us in these nightmare scenarios describe our existence as hell. So let's get specific on what that means. We'll begin by talking about the trait most of us have heard of that narcissists don't have, empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of somebody else. Many of us are empaths, and that takes empathetic feelings and puts them on steroids. We can actually feel somebody else's emotions. We're able to pick up on subtle clues. And narcissists love empaths because empaths are healers, and narcissists are broken. Now, personally, I don't feel bad for a narcissist because of how cruel they are, how cold, manipulative, and destructive they are. But they are, people who walk around with the equivalent of a large gaping hole where their heart should be. It's part of what makes them a narcissist. But their pain destroys other people, and that makes a huge difference when it comes to sympathy. But back to empathy. What is the reality of life with someone lacking empathy? First of all, you're going to face all problems alone. I lost 2 pregnancies after fertility issues. There are not words to describe that pain, and I faced it alone. Now, the thing is, for anybody who is facing fertility issues, when you finally get pregnant, the joy is indescribable. When I first got pregnant, I took 20 pregnancy tests because I couldn't believe it. I was so when I got pregnant with my daughter, I took 1 pregnancy test. I kept buying pregnancy tests because I was like, oh my gosh, is this real? This can't be real. I can't believe it. I was so excited to lose 2 babies. It's devastating under any condition, any circumstances. But when you don't think you can get pregnant, and then you get pregnant and you believe, oh my gosh, this is it. And then you lose those babies. It is tragic. I have never needed my ex more than I needed him at that time. I needed my husband and he was not there. He didn't care. Well, they weren't even born. Like, they weren't real to him. They weren't real people. Well, it was very real to me. That's no empathy. Now, I've had beloved animals die, and what he would typically say to me is, sorry. I mean, that's it. Sorry. That's what you're dealing with. That is what you're dealing with. You don't deserve that. I mean, that's abuse. And it isn't only an issue during tough times. Somebody without empathy doesn't get excited for you either. So when something good happens, if it doesn't affect them, they don't care because you don't have a partner. You are going through life with somebody who doesn't care. You're living despite someone else, and that's a miserable way to live. A narcissist is like a vampire, but they feed on your joy, your love. If you stay with a narcissist, you're going to end up feeling empty and beat up. This leads me to emotional neglect. Neglect is a failure to meet somebody's basic needs, and it's a form of abuse. It's a complete disregard for you. Think about if you neglected your car. So you didn't change the oil, you never got maintenance done, the check engine light's on, you just ignore it. You hear this weird noise, you just ignore it. You would not have that car last very long at all. Or imagine if you neglected your hair. So you didn't wash it, you didn't comb it, and you wouldn't end up with dreadlocks because dreadlocks actually take some work. You would end up with literally this rat's nest of a hair. It would look disgusting. I mean, can you imagine the state of it after only 1 week? After an extended amount of time, you would look horrifying. Emotional neglect is internal. You can't see it on the outside. There isn't a visual representation. But that doesn't mean that something isn't happening. Emotional neglect is abuse, and if you're with a narcissist, you will be abused. Abuse is not just physical. Emotional abuse is also real abuse. Now, another consequence that I want to discuss is whole object relations. So that's the ability to form an integrated, realistic, and stable image of yourself and others. What that means for you is that you're able to see the good and the bad in a person at the same time. A narcissist can only see you and others as either all good or all bad. So when a narcissist is mad at you, they will hate you. They don't remember anything good about you at all. So think about that. You're with somebody who literally hates you. They're not angry with you in the moment. They despise you. You are either special, perfect, and all good, or you're unworthy, flawed, defective, all bad. And this goes hand in hand with something known as object constancy. That is the ability to remember positive feelings that you have for somebody else while you're hurt, angry, or disappointed. With a narcissist, you'll never have any security. Every disappointment, every disagreement is a potential breakup. I mean, you're living like that all the time. A narcissist will quickly facilitate between liking you and hating you with lightning speed. This puts incredible pressure on you. You literally are tiptoeing around the narcissist. You're walking on those proverbial eggshells. You don't want to upset the narcissist and put them in one of their moods. They're a true Jekyll and Hyde. 1 minute they're loving and kind, and the next minute, and when I say the next minute, I mean literally the next minute, they are cold and cruel, and nobody does cruelty like a narcissist. They will turn off their emotions so thoroughly that it will scare you. they'll end up staring at you with hate. They'll ignore you completely, or they'll keep you up all night lecturing you and pointing out every single flaw that they've decided you have. And on top of that, suddenly it will be over, and they will act like it never even happened. This will be your life. I mean, it's unbelievable. It is a nightmare scenario. When people say hell, this is what it is. You have no security. You don't have anybody that cares about you. Your emotions are constantly jerked around. And there are other realities that you'll be forced to endure as well. Remember, narcissists don't care about anybody else, so they will have a complete disregard for you around other people as well. The best example I have with this actually isn't my ex, it's my ex-father-in-law, my ex's father. So anytime we would get together with his parents, I can't think of a time that this didn't happen. So whatever we were doing, we eating dinner, or just they had a beach house we used to go to sometimes, we'd be sitting around talking. My ex's father would constantly make fun of his mother. I mean, he would tell everybody that, his wife is ugly. Don't you think that she's ugly? He would say that to my kids. Don't you think your grandmother's ugly? Tell your grandmother that she's ugly. Tell your grandmother that she's fat. Look at your grandmother's wrinkles. Look at this. Look at that. I mean, every time. And he would say it. And when he first started doing this, when I first got together with my ex and I met his parents, well, actually, you know what? I shouldn't say that. I actually always knew his parents. I've actually, a little side note, I knew my ex growing up. So I always knew him. But there was like a time period from when I went to college to when we were together that I didn't see him. I wasn't really friends with him. Our parents were friends, but I always knew him. So I never really spent time with his parents as an adult. So when we first got together and I was with them, I got to know them in a way that I didn't know them before. So here he is, this man, and he is berating his wife. He's making her feel bad. He's making her embarrassed in front of everybody, in front of me, in front of her grandchildren. And, her husband didn't care. This was amusing for him. It was another time we went on vacation with my in-laws, and we were getting on this boat, and they had this like security measures. They were doing one of those wands. My ex and his father were behind us, so it was my mother-in-law, me, and the kids, and we were going onto the boat. And I saw, and this is before I even knew anything about narcissism, and this just really struck me. She started panicking when she saw this guy with like one of those wands, a metal detector, and she started frantically pulling off jewelry. Oh, Sharon, help me, can you get this off? I can't get this bracelet off. She was like in a panic. She's like, oh my gosh, he's going to be so upset like if we cause a delay. Now, they were already behind us, but she was so afraid that because she had so much jewelry on that it was going to somehow set off the metal detector, and then there was going to be a delay and he was going to be angry. She was afraid of him. This is what it comes down to. She can't even do something with her grandkids. I mean, she's traumatized by the past abuse of him. Like, she's trained. And this is what narcissists do. They train us to be afraid. When I got married, I took my vows seriously. I was a good wife to a very sick person. I can look at myself in the mirror. I know I didn't deserve what happened. For years, I tried to make my marriage work. But if you are with a narcissist, it's like clapping with one hand. Nothing is going to happen. I might as well have had an imaginary husband. I went through a lot of emotions, and I had a lot of reasons why I stayed. I didn't want my kids to come from a broken home was huge. I also felt trapped financially because I was a stay-at-home mom. And for a long time, I believed that God wanted me to stay. When I look back and think about things that I did, this actually sickens me now. But I used to think to myself, like, my ex would do horrible things. He would charge up credit cards. He drove drunk with my kids. He stole money from my kids. And I believed, now this is when I obviously didn't know much about Christianity. I thought it was my duty as a Christian wife to forgive my husband when he did something wrong. It totally flew over my head that he actually wasn't sorry. I mean, he's not even apologizing. I just believe, well, it's my duty to do this. And then I would do it and I would feel good. Like, oh, look at me. Like, I'm patting myself on the back. Like, wow, Sharon, you're like such a great wife. No, I was not such a great wife. I was a fool. I was letting somebody abuse me. I was letting somebody walk all over me. The truth is that we have a responsibility to take care of ourselves, and we have a responsibility to take care of our children. An intact marriage doesn't mean anything if it's not a good marriage. Anybody can stay with an abusive person. I mean, the abusive person is only too happy to have you stay, but you're demeaning yourself. And think about what you're doing to your children. You know, Joe and I have had a lot of conversations about our own children because they grew up this way, and both of us regret staying. If you're with somebody like this, I really do not believe. Now, granted, of course, this is my opinion, but it's my channel, so I'm going to tell you how I feel. I do not believe anybody should stay with a narcissist. I think if you stay with a narcissist, you are going to regret it. You're going to have a miserable existence. Life without a narcissist is so much better. I believed, and I know because I've heard from some of you, that you also are a stay-at-home mom and you do not think that you can make it on your own. You will not be able to make it. You know, I won't be able to pay bills. I get that. I am not disregarding that reality, but I'm going to tell you what happened to me. I also felt that way. A couple of months before I ended the relationship, and I shouldn't even say I ended the relationship because I really didn't. God ended the relationship for me. He made it impossible for me to stay. So he did for me what I couldn't do. But my relationship ended in December of 2019. In August of 2019, my ex was in a mental hospital and I was afraid of him. I didn't want him at the house. I didn't want him around me. I didn't want him around the kids. And I felt trapped. I felt stuck. My own pastor said to me, Sharon, do not let him come home. He took me to the police department and I spoke to a police officer. And the police officer said, ma'am, when I hear people say what you're saying, there's a reason for it. Do not let this person come back to your house. I can't do anything until he hurts you. So you need to take preventative action. You can get a restraining order. He doesn't have to come back to your house. Do it now. And I didn't do it because I felt trapped. I felt, well, how am I going to pay my mortgage? How am I going to pay my bills? I didn't have a job. I hadn't worked in a long time. I had kids to take care of. I had kids to feed. I had animals to feed. What was I going to do? I was terrified. And I let this person, this thing, come back to my house. And it was hell. That was the worst time between August and December. I had to call the cops 4 times. He tried to get me arrested. Child Protective Services was involved. He was an absolute nightmare. When the relationship ended, the day I had to kick him out, I had to because he tried to get me arrested. So I didn't have a choice at that point. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I started getting all these bills in the mail, bills he hadn't paid. I believe that I was in a lot of danger at this point. I don't know why. So he couldn't have known that the relationship was going to end. He couldn't have known this. Nobody knew this. This happened the day he tried to get me arrested. That was not planned. It was a reaction to me yelling at him. So here he is. He had already not paid these bills. What was he going to do? We have weapons in the home. We have several guns in the home. What was he going to do? That terrifies me today. You could be in danger. And I'm going to tell you something. I got the bills paid. Now, what I had to do was I had to take a cash advance on a credit card, but I got the bills paid. I paid it. I paid my bills. I survived. I got a job. I made it. Now, I'm not well off, and I'm still trying to make myself, I'm still trying to get a life together. I'm still trying to get good financial stability, but I wasn't living in my car. Anybody who is afraid, there is a way. There really is. Now, I'm not suggesting that you just immediately just end the relationship and just live on hope. Make some plans. But if you aren't helpless, if you aren't an invalid, you can work. You can make it happen. And I know it's terrifying. I know it's horrifying. It's so scary. But doing it afraid is worth it. Your life is worth it. Your kid's life is worth it. You know, I said recently to my daughter, I told her that I was afraid. And you know what she said to me? She's like, Mom, what are you talking about? You're the bravest person I know. You just do whatever you want. You don't let anybody walk all over you. This is what she thought of me. That's not how I think of myself. But it's from the things that I've done because she sees me take action. And I'm hoping that that's going to affect her life in a positive way because I do not want my own children to be in the exact same life that I'm living. This situation, it's hell. Do not live like this. Make plans to get out. Nobody is stuck. Really, you can do it. It might take plans. You might not be able to live at the same standard you're used to living. But if you trust in God, you do what you need to do. You keep stepping forward even when you're afraid, and you don't cower and run back to the narcissist, you will have a life. You will be able to live. Right now, I'm terrified. I'm terrified of what the next week brings. I'm so afraid, but I'm still going to do it because I would rather die trying than not have the freedom that I need to have, that I deserve, that my children deserve. And I have this new chance with Joe, and I'm really excited about it. But that's just a bonus, because no matter what ever happens, if I'm free of my ex, I win. That's how it is for all of us. So I'm telling you, if I can do this, so can you. Please do not stay with a narcissist. You are going to ruin your life. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really do get it. I understand. I am with you. And I'm going to have so much more to say on the other side. I'm going to make a video with Joe over the weekend. I'm going to release that on Monday. Then I'm going to put out a Wednesday video. Then I'm going to take the rest of the month off, but I will be back on the community page probably daily, and I'll let you know where I am and update, and I'll come back after the new year, and I will have so much to say, and I'll be back on my regular schedule with Joe in a lot of the videos. So a lot of great things are coming up. We're going to be doing some lives. We're really going to try to do a lot of fun things with the channel. I also have some giveaways I want to do, all types of stuff. I want to be able to have more contact with you. I'm going to be also, Joe and I are going to be doing counseling on the phone if you want a session. So there's all types of things that we have planned. So please stay tuned. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Please pray for me. And the thing, I actually, just so you know, I actually pray for all of you as well. Some of you have told me specific things that you want prayer for. I keep a little list of that so I don't forget to pray for anybody. So if I tell you I'm going to pray for you, I really do. So we can be in contact with each other. And I guess this is it. I will see you all on Monday. And then, oh my gosh, every day that gets closer. So I will see you guys on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless.